Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shooting the Shit with Johnny and Smith. I'm Johnny.
I'm Smith, and today we're going to be talking about a sneak preview of Man of Medan.
Yeah, Bandai sent us a couple of codes actually, to try the co-op out. Now, we only got to try two, not even a full chapter, two sections of a chapter, totaled roughly 20 minutes. Still, I think we kind of got a solid idea of what the gameplay loop is going to be and all that. For those of you that don't know what this is, it's kind of like a game like Detroit Become Human or Heavy Rain. It's a very cinematic interaction type of game, except this is a horror one based in the ocean from what we can see so far. And first off, Smith, you played Conrad, right? Smith played Conrad first. I played this. We're watching my playthrough. So when we first started, what did you think of how the game looked and all that?
It's sometimes you look at it and it's brilliant, it's perfect, and other times you look at it and it's just off. But in general, there are definitely more times where it looks brilliant than not. So it does look really good.
Yeah, I think sometimes like some of these minor characters that probably ain't going to be around later don't necessarily have the polish of the characters that are the main characters. So the characters that are getting taken basically were prisoners. That's the characters you play as. These are some pirates. We don't exactly know what happened because they just tossed us in, I would assume, halfway point of chapter 1. That's what it kind of felt like, right?
Yeah, one of the guys mentions a scene earlier on where he upset some fishermen. That's about the only sort of information you get prior to this actual part that you're playing. So it kind of dumps you in. You don't have any connection to the characters before and that. But I think that the thing with the visuals especially is, you're focusing your entire efforts on the hardest graphics to pull off in gaming.
Yeah.
Right, you can do environments, you can do water well, but the facial emotions and that of a person are just so much more difficult to do. So it's a bit more critical, but yeah, just wanted to throw that in there because I didn't want to be too harsh.
Yeah, no, it looks good for the most part. There are things you notice where it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But so this was a co-op preview. This is, from my knowledge at least, games like this generally are not co-op. I will say that after playing co-op with you, I was pretty excited for the game. I'm a lot more excited to be playing with you because you'll see here very shortly, I'm going to be trapped in this room and Smith's going to be outside and he's doing his thing and I'm doing my thing. And it's like, okay, what is he doing? Because like, you don't have time for me to be like, oh, Smith, look, I got to make this decision. What do you think? It's like, no, you got to make a choice or you're going to miss out. So like I said, I'm more excited after the preview. How were you feeling before we played? Did you even look anything up or anything like that, or?
I had minor knowledge of the whole, style, the Detroit Become Human, the heavy narrative approach with the story and the characters and stuff. I knew that much. That was about it. I wasn't that interested. I'm very interested now. I'm excited to play it now.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. So there's a couple of you know what? Let's just go ahead and get in some critiques real quick. Because while we enjoyed the thing, there was definitely some situations. And actually, we're about to see one here fairly shortly. We get captured by these pirates. And eventually, we're about to get taken out. One of us gets taken out onto the bridge of the boat, whatever it's called. And we're separated. And then she's going to pull out some scissors and be like, oh, look, I forgot these were here. And it's like, no, you didn't. No one in this situation would forget there are scissors and a purse in this room that we are trapped in. It's to the point where it's like, okay, that's not even believable. You know what I mean? So things like that take you out of it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's not the only part either. Because obviously you've got, say, these 100 scenes that are all stitched together in different ways and different orders, depending on the decisions you make and the choices you make. But there was one that kept coming up because we played through, 4 times?
3 or 4, yeah. We tried a bunch of different routes.
We played different roles and we've done different choices and messed up on purpose and that kind of stuff. But in every single one of the guys gets cut free and he goes up and hammers on the door, shouting at one of the pirates. Yes. And then he sits down and he says, when he comes back in, pretend we're still tied up. It's like, he just saw you punch the door. He knows you're not tied up. And he just, every time he puts his hand behind his back like he's tied up again. That really irritated me because it happened every playthrough regardless of any choices we made.
Yeah. Now, this scene right here is, I'm trapped in the room. Smith is actually outside interacting with the pirates. So this is just one of the co-op examples where he's doing something and then I have to do something. You don't really know what's going on out there outside the fact that I see him getting slugged. Now, like you said, that's not the only time that it happens. But to be fair, like, in theory, you're not really going to replay this section that many times. You know what I mean? My worry is that how it's going to happen later in the game, because there was a point where when we were out on the table, we were talking with the pirates, and there's an option to say nothing. These guys generally give you an option to say nothing, and sometimes it does nothing, sometimes it gets you killed. Never really know. So I said nothing. And when I said nothing, the girl looked at me and she said, "Why aren't you going to say anything?" And then the pirate looked at me and he said, "Shut up." And it's like, I didn't say anything. Like, just, what's going on? So it's like the game wasn't really calibrated for that. And yeah, see, here's our convenient scissors that we just now remembered we had. I don't think this part's going to be super important, to be honest with you. You're on the boat.
I don't know, because the outcomes we had were very different. If this is very early in the chapter, and again, it could change very quickly, but you've got the 4 main characters you've already seen, and there's another guy who's the brother of one of the characters who's hiding. And we had it so that at one point 4 of us left on the boat. Another point there was 3 of us and maybe a 4th guy. Another time 5 of us. So like by the end of the chapter, there was 3 or 4 different outcomes where people were missing.
And yeah, I think
go ahead. If they don't, if they don't come back in a real bullshit way, like 10 minutes later he's on the big boat and like, oh hello, they could just be cut out from then onwards. I've no idea. So it depends on the severity of the impact of what these decisions do. If it is massive, these are huge decisions very early on, but if it's minor, it kind of undermines the whole thing.
Yeah, and as I said, we did replay it a few times. We were trying to actually get someone killed on our last playthrough. I don't think you can at this point. There are things you can do, like to separate the group. You can take the speedboat. There's a little speedboat attached. You can use that and try to escape. That was actually probably one of our funniest scenes when Smith tried to escape. He forgot because we were like, will he get killed? We don't know. And then he didn't take the rope off the boat, so he just drove and just got stuck, and that was a good time too. But another time, there was 4 of us that were on the bridge, and the 5th guy didn't even show himself, because there are 5 of them on the boat, but only 4 of them get captured. And you would know there was 5 of them on the boat if you actually started the game from the beginning, I would assume. So, because like actually to us, I remember you said, "Oh hey, there's another guy watching out there," and I thought you meant there was another pirate, but it's not. It's the dude's brother under the bed, hiding still. And I was like, oh. And eventually he can help you depending on what you do. And I wonder if, because like I said, it's only 2 scenes, only 20 minutes. I wonder if you don't have him come out to help, because that was like this playthrough, actually, I don't think we had him come out. If he's going to be able to, like, I don't know, start in a different spot, like, it's a weird thing, because we've only been able to see very little of it, and it's already like very obvious that things could definitely change depending on what we do. Like if Conrad, go ahead.
Picking up a book and reading chapter 4 as the start, you've got no idea what's happened, where you're going, or why you're here. It does kind of toss you in a little bit.
Yeah.
And then there's every chance that guy drowned, because towards the end of the scene, you crash into a bigger boat and your boat starts to fill with water.
Yes.
You have to come below and go up to deck, and if the guy isn't revealed, he just disappears or stays down there, or sometimes he gets knocked out, so it's a bit...
Yeah, that's true. That first one could be him potentially drowning. So what the Man of Medan is it's a horror game. These guys did Until Dawn, which was also a horror game. And you don't really see it here. Yeah, we're abducted by pirates, whatever. But at the end of this, towards the end of this section, and this is where the main crux of the game is going to come in. We crashed into a freaking huge boat. Looked like a big old metal, I don't even know, freighter, tanker. It looked like a big boat. We crashed into that at the end, and that is where most of the game is going to be taking place. Now, I said I was interested in playing it because it was co-op with you, which was going to be fun, of course. But you mentioned yesterday that you always like the idea of like being trapped on a boat in a horror situation, and
yeah,
that always brings me back to that X-Files episode. You know the one I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, one, yeah.
Exactly, dude. Yeah. So I'm excited for that as well. Like, not just because of the co-op, but while there was some jank, while there was some, rough transitions, let's just say that, the story itself, even though we didn't see the beginning of it, I was like, okay, yeah, I want to know what's going to go on. How did you feel about it?
Very much the same. I'm a big horror fan, but the scariest horror is done right when it's just done with people. Nothing is scarier than the guy next to you. Right?
Right.
No make-believe monster, no dude in a mask with a hatchet. That's all good fun and stuff, but real scary comes when it just comes just to people and the stories of these people. When it's done, it wasn't a jump scare. It wasn't. You're in a scary situation. You're in a horrific situation. So it's very realistic in that sense. But I mean, I'm watching the video about now, and all the characters I like.
Right.
There's only little bits of them, but there's there's ways to grow your character based on your decisions. So
yes.
At one point during one of the playthroughs, my guy got half his ear cut off.
The first one, yeah.
Right, and he comes back into the room and he's dripping blood on his ear. And then in another scene, I think you beat a guy up with something or other, right? And he had blood dripping down his face for the rest of the scene. So you're developing physical and emotional scars with these characters just in this small 20-minute section.
Yeah.
That's going to last with those characters for the rest of the game.
Exactly.
And if you've got a dozen, 2 dozen, 100 of those different things, you want to come out of it all battered and bruised in many different ways, emotionally, physically. And I think that's where the interest is coming in for me, how you can develop the character's personality and what kind of lasting effect it has.
Yeah, there is a trait system, but we did not get to see that, which is very unfortunate. It would say stuff like you earned a new trait, or a new heading was one of them as well. Like when I got onto the boat, it said there was a new heading for Conrad. So I guess potentially it could mean like, he's going home. The rest of you are stuck on the boat, because it's a total of 6 characters from what I read before we started. And it says, can you get them all to survive? And that's basically what Until Dawn was. You're trying to get them to survive. So you're going to be doing it in this one as well, except there was 8 characters in Until Dawn. And there is certainly obviously some sort of mystery with that boat, but that's not the only mystery. It's actually coming up here pretty soon from what I recall. There's a man that is not none of these guys. There's a dude with a bowler hat. See, it says relationship updated right there. I let that blonde chick get shot in the head. She is not going to be happy about that. So that means our relationship's a little more tension there. But anyways, the guy with the hat.
And that's his girlfriend, I think. Right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's even worse.
Yeah, we woke up together, so I would assume so. The guy with there's a guy with a bowler hat, and you don't talk to him. You just, like, when you're in, we might have already went past it actually. Like, you see him through the glass of the door that you're trapped in. You just see him standing there next to the other guy, and they seem to be talking with each other. But no one in the room, like none of the main characters make any like, oh, who's that dude? I didn't see him before. They just seem to kind of ignore it. So I'm not sure who he is, but he definitely added, because he's not here at the end either. Like, he's here and then he's not here. It's like, how did he get off? Do these guys even see him? I don't know. So it's another mystery right there. So it's the boat and the man in the hat. So you've already got 2 mysteries that I'm interested in. I think that guy might be the Charlie guy. That's just a guess, because there is the option to play as Charlie. We just couldn't do it in the preview. So he could be Charlie. I'm not sure, but he was definitely out of place. And you'll actually get to see here. Oh, you were talking about earlier. I wanted to say this earlier. I almost forgot how, like, the best horror is like from when it's within, and they do a really good job of being like, hey, Fliss seems a little shifty. She might be working with these pirates, and like, we don't have all the information. It could be someone else working with the pirates, but the thing is, like, when you're trapped in that room, Fliss is taken out, and like, you can't play as Fliss, so you don't know what that conversation is. And then afterwards, you do get to play as Fliss, but it doesn't really go back to the previous conversation about what she said. So it's just one of those things, like, I don't know. Are they just trying to tell me that she is a traitor, so I'm thinking that she's a traitor because I wouldn't have thought it before, right? Are they just doing that to my head? Which is, yes, that's what they're doing, but it worked. I was like, is she? Like, I don't know, since we didn't see the start of it, but
that's where you get into the double bluff territory, right? Because obviously she's taken away, and when it comes to horror and that kind of stuff, the unknown is just, your brain just starts ticking over. Is she out there making deals? Is she out there shaking hands and drinking tea? Was this all planned? And it could be complete bollocks. She may have absolutely nothing to do with it, but we were suspect instantly. As soon as he said it, we were both like, you know what? He's right. Just from one little line of dialogue, and that power to create that sort of question of doubt in the person playing the game, that's, in such a short scene, was quite impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So getting a thumbs up from me. Seems like it's getting a thumbs up from you as well, just from what we played so far. Is there anything else?
Definitely. I was
Go ahead.
way more excited than I was before.
Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this up? This is a quick preview. We only got to play 20 minutes, so we didn't get to see a ton of it, but I'm definitely more interested in seeing more. But anything else you want to talk about real quick?
It's a little quick.
It is, yeah. You're right. The quick time things, a lot of them are really fast. Like you saw, actually, it was perfect. I missed that one. Well, I missed one. I'll miss one again, actually. I don't know if we'll get to that one or not, but it's a really funny one because a fucking frying pan comes out and busts me in the skull. So it's a good time. You literally have, I don't know, 2 seconds, maybe?
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And it's just because you're engrossed in the story. So you're looking at the characters' emotions and reactions and the facial animations and stuff. And that's credit to the team for what they've done. But you're taken out of that instantly for this quick time event. You're suddenly reminded, fuck, I'm playing a game. I need to push a button. And I think it's a little counterintuitive to what they're trying to do, but at the same time, I understand the importance of it needing to be quick, because otherwise, if you just get it right every time,
yes,
you've got complete control over the story, and you can't feel fear if you're in control. So I understand why they're quick. I'm just the frying pan of the
there it was. Yep.
and there's things throughout. There's one when you're trying to jump and escape off the boat. I had to press a button to get past the guard. I had to time my movement with the thunder. Then I had to jump on the boat and push another button. And then I thought, when I was driving away, I'm good, but I missed the button press to take the rope off.
Yeah.
And then there was one where we played it again, and Johnny caught the frying pan. It was like, huzzah! And then he got hit with something else because he didn't get the button. So it's just like the game is just going to keep hitting you with these over and over again. And I think I learned to like it eventually. It was just a bit unexpected and a bit fast.
To be fair, we were playing this on PC. I was using an Xbox controller. I think you were as well, and I don't want to say we're like PlayStation fanboys, but we play most of our games on PlayStation, so we're used to those buttons. I'm a little better at it because I had an Xbox when I was a kid, not a PlayStation, so I know what Y is triangle and all that business, but even then it's kind of like, it takes like half a second for that to process in your brain, so you have even less time to operate.
I switched to keyboard for the last playthrough. Now, bear in mind, I could use a keyboard blind. Completely blind, no problem. And I'm sitting there on WASD, and it goes W, and I miss it. And I'm waiting, I'm sitting there on a W, and it's like the guy says something, I'm like, oh yeah, I missed it, shit, frying pan to face.
Like I said, we did play on PC, and it's worth mentioning. It's only 20 minutes, but I didn't have any crashes. No, the thing ran smooth, buttery smooth, no trouble whatsoever. I don't think you had any issues either, Smith?
No, I mean, if you give it a press demo for 20 minutes, it should bloody work. But it worked
did.
flawlessly, no frame drops, no issues, nothing like that at all.
And you know what? There's the boat. This is the first playthrough is about to wrap up. Seems like a good time for us to wrap up. I believe this game is due out. Let me look real quick. August 30th. So, if you're interested, you can pre-order it by then. Yeah, like I said, currently got a thumbs up from me. I'm not saying like game of the year contender or anything, but it looks enjoyable to say the least. Smith, you're in the same boat, right?
Yeah, same boat. How you're funny. I'm looking forward to it like the next episode of X-Files. I'm like, I want to know more about these people. I want to know where the story's going. And before I played, that was not bothered. So yeah, they've completely transferred me. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, good job with the characters, certainly. All right, well, that will do it for us. So if you liked what you saw, got what you needed, you know how it goes. Like, comment, subscribe. Smith, why don't you say goodbye?
Later, Gators.
Later.